Hello again, I'm Butch Stearns of the Pulse Network.
And I'm Scott Lewer from Digital Clarity Group.
And you are watching CMS Connected, the web content management industry's only news commentary show. Time now for our CMS Insider. Too bad we do have one here.
You got jokes.
Do that every time.
You do.
Our CMS Insider segment is where we rely on Scott Lewer's passion and knowledge and dig into a subject. However, we're tweaking it a little bit already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're tweaking a little bit with a poll question that
Yep.
we've put out there in the CMS Connected audience and got some results.
Yep.
So, in this segment, we are going to talk very specifically about the value, or let me amend that, is there still as much value in a Super Bowl ad when you consider the amount you spend, the audience you reach, and all this and that? So, if you were one of the record 114 plus million viewers who tuned into Super Bowl 50, and by the way, the Patriots did win that Super Bowl, and they did beat the Seattle Seahawks with properly inflated footballs, by the way, okay? Okay? You were likely inundated with ads, each of which cost a cool $4.5 million. But while you may have chuckled at those spots, ask yourself, how motivated were you to act on those ads and purchase those products and services? And if you were that company, could your ad dollars have been better spent in other channels, including digital? A big mouthful. So the simple question, is a Super Bowl ad still worth it?
So would it be worth it to me? No, because I have a very specific audience. So even if I had $4.5 million to spend on a Super Bowl ad, there's not a chance that I would, because it's not, I don't have a very broad audience. I have a very specific audience I need to go and find. That being said, I think that the bigger question is, does broadcast marketing work? And I think the answer is that it can work if you are smart about it, right? If you've got campaigns in place, pre, during, post, if you can leverage it, if you can have, call to actions that people can use. I think otherwise you don't even necessarily know of you don't necessarily even know the benefits of it. You don't know whether or not the Super Bowl ad worked for you or not if you're not having some specific sort of call to action per se. So for broad branding, sure, but unless you've got a really specific campaign around it, I'm not so sure.
All right, let's go to our CMS Connected poll that we conducted on the CMS Connected website and asked two questions. Question number one, are you likely to buy something you saw on a Super Bowl commercial? There were three choices: yes, no, maybe not sure. 11% said yes, I'd buy something on a Super Bowl commercial. 24% said no. 65% said maybe not sure. What do you deduct from those poll numbers?
So I want to take a couple of shots at our poll in the first place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the reason I want to do that is because we led into this by basically saying, could your dollars have been spent better on other channels, including digital? As if Super Bowl ads are only non-digital today, right? I mean, I think the big point here is that everything is everywhere, and so Super Bowl ads are very much digital because they are being, streamed on YouTube, and they're being watched everywhere aside from the Super Bowl as well, before, during, and after. And so I think, when you spend on a Super Bowl ad, you very much do need to have a digital strategy to go and support that, to be able to go and leverage that, whether that's you're starting a hashtag stream and trying to get a conversation going in that way and you're using social, whether it's your YouTube captures, whatever it might be. So I think this also is digital. This is not an either or thing.
Okay, so fine. So since you've put me in the position to defend the dozens of people who run these polls behind the scenes at CMS Connected, the question is still more relevant than ever. We're not talking about channels. It's a simple question to the audience. Are you likely to buy something you saw on a Super Bowl commercial? I'm a little surprised that 65% were not sure.
Yeah. I would say I'm not sure. The reason I'd say I'm not sure is because I can't remember one single Super Bowl ad, to be honest. I remember that little puppy. I don't even know if it was this year or not, the Budweiser one. I don't even know if it was this year or not, to be honest. I'm not a big watcher of the Super Bowl ads thing. Frankly, that's my time to go get up and get the Doritos or whatever like that. That's well, I think they advertise on the Super Bowl too. But that's my time to go get food. And then I'm not a big watcher after the fact. But many people are, including football fans and non-football fans. There was this one. I was at a Super Bowl party. And yes, she was a Patriots fan, and she was, basically talking with the ladies, not watching the game. Not that all ladies don't watch the game, but she was not interested in watching the game at all. And she made sure that we called her in every time the ads came on so that she could come in and watch the ads. I left the room. I could care less.
Well,
I actually have no idea whether...
Well, that gets right to our second question in our CMS Connected website poll. Question is, what were you doing during the Super Bowl commercials? 4 different choices. Attentively watched the commercials, 23%.
Yep.
So 3 out of 4 said no, they didn't, but a little less than that 1 out of 4 said they did. Browse the web via smartphone or tablet, 5%. I'm shocked that number is so low.
Yeah, that's a really low number.
Got up and left the room, 11%. Well, those are the non-beer drinkers. The beer drinkers. Right.
Exactly.
Didn't watch the Super Bowl, 61%.
That's crazy.
Now I'm starting to question the poll results
I think it's a crazy poll. But again, I say to you that it's actually an irrelevant point. Like, in other words, these are all add up to 100, and you can not have watched the Super Bowls, but very much have tentatively watched the commercials and that sort of thing. These are not mutually exclusive options. But that being said, I think, I question the poll because I don't think that there's really 61%. What audience is this that didn't watch the Super Bowl at all? Even if it was motivations to just hang out and be social, I think there's a bigger population than 40%.
All right, so let's conclude this CMS Insider segment with some takeaways. $4.5 million to buy a Super Bowl ad. I'll make a statement. Tell me if you agree. If I were Budweiser, you mentioned you have a niche audience with DCG, so the volume of people might not be worth it to you.
That's right.
To a B2C company like Budweiser or Coca-Cola or Doritos, of course it is. The more people you reach. However, gone are the days, in my opinion, that you can, even if you have the financial wherewithal, the might, to spend $4.5 million on that traditional holy grail of television ads, a Super Bowl ad. Gone are the days, if you think that it's worth it for you, I don't care what analytics you use, if you don't have it tied to some specific call to action that's cross-platform, omni-channel, that has a campaign that's going to have people tweet about it, talk about it, make them want to do something after the fact.
Live beyond the
gone are those days,
That's
even if you're a monolith giant like those companies.
That's right. And I think that's when you're going to hit, the broadest audience. And that's why this is not about Super Bowl watchers. It's about a much more of a mass appeal. I mean, this can get and spread around everywhere, and virally, to use that term. I hate it, but these things can really take off with the right kind of, like you say, planning and campaign around them.
Yeah, I would argue, and I'd like your final comment on this, that again, if you have it, if you're going to go for that large an audience, and you're going to spend that much money to get your real bang for your buck, you really have to ask that fundamental marketing question that we asked this entire show. What do you want them to do?
That's right.
When you go there? Do you just want them to watch the ad and tell their friends? That's what it was years ago. No, you want more than that. There needs to be a more specific call to action.
I think, and this is something that Amanda said in one of her kind of final points, I think, as she pointed out that marketing tends to be for one of 3 reasons. And she said that either it's for awareness, right? Or it's for lead generation, or it's for a combination of those 2 things. And I think if you just want to do awareness, I think you're frankly missing the boat. I'm not sure whether there should just be awareness, certainly not for $4.5 million, but I'm not so sure that that has to stand in isolation as an option ever. I think there's always a way that you can make that be able to get you more traction.
All right, that is our CMS Insider segment on this edition of CMS Connected. We want to thank David Ginsburg and Amanda Haley. They were great.
They were good. They were good.
Yeah, Sonny Lenarduzzi for reviewing HubSpot in our Spotlight segment. So for CMS Connected and all the hardworking folks involved in this show, I'm Butch Stearns of the Pulse Network.
And I'm Scott Lewer of Digital Clarity Group.
Get connected.
Stay connected.
On CMS Connected. See you next time.